All right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live Asian session. I'm your host for tonight's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And we're definitely happy and grateful for all of you being here with us as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we can take advantage of in this Forex market. So without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure we continue to do an awesome job of participating and engaging. So if everybody can hear me loud and clear, you all are ready to go as we look to close out August here in a couple of days and move into September. Drop me a huge one in the chat. Let me know you're all ready. Let me see. We got a one beneath. Thank you very much, sir. Jeremy. All right. Crew is here. See the ones coming in. David. All right. Good evening. Okay. So, hey, let's get into it. Oh, so we're looking for some things to start to happen and break a little bit of this stagnation. We had Bullet speaking today. It was kind of unrelated to a lot of things. We got something coming up for them later with the CPI data right here at 9:30 for Australia. That's what's going to be most important. The projection is 5.2%. See what happens, right? When we come in, we know CPI reports are very, very important in regards to the currencies. We had the S&P composite 20-year HPI come through. That's looking at the housing sector and home prices. So for those of you who may not know, it's a change in the selling price of single-family homes in 20 metropolitan areas here in the United States. It's a leading indicator of the housing industry's health because rising home prices attract investors and spur industry activity. So the forecast is negative 1.5. It came in at 1.2. So in a lot of your major metropolitan areas, you still see, I think in 10 of the 20, home prices were still rising. But for the other 10, I have to look at more details of the report. I think they were at super, super high prices, right? So kind of reaching that maximum level. So that was decent for the United States here today. Consumer confidence missed, came in at 106 on a forecast of 116. Then the JOLTS job openings came through. Forecast is 9.49 million. It came through at 8.83, right? So if we go over to trading economics, we see that was the news of the day. U.S. job openings slumped to 28-month low, right? So the number of job openings declined by 338,000 to 8.8 million in July, reaching the lowest level since March of 2021 and falling below the market expectations of 9.4 million. The latest survey added to the signs of loosening labor market following the unprecedented monetary policy tightening delivered by the Fed over the past months, right? So when we hear Chairman Powell keep saying the labor market is sticky, wage growth, labor market is sticky, labor market is sticky, wage growth, back and forth. You hear it over and over again. That was still one of the points, right? One of the areas that they needed to see, some data start to go in the direction that it's going now. We know that things like interest rate hikes, they have a lagging effect on the economy. And so, hey, 28-month low in regards to U.S. job openings. All right, so we're starting to see that tightening. Okay, so we'll continue to watch that closely. You saw a correction, right? So if we go over to the DXY, we saw a bit of a correction today, right? We came through, we held at the level, we broke down, right? So that's on the daily chart, that's another swing high, right? So that's acting as resistance now. The high that we formed right there. Okay. That's a high. So we got some corrective action in the dollar. You saw the market move. We always need a catalyst to break the gridlock. Okay. We talked about this week, posted in the Discord how, hey, usually at this time, this last week of August, things get a little slow. Investors on vacay, wrapping up vacations, going into Labor Day. You had a bank holiday in the UK to start the week. So it should be interesting, right? Starting at 9:30 here with that CPI data coming through for Australia, and then we have CPI numbers coming out for some other key areas as we move through the night into tomorrow. So we got a correction in the dollar. We see a little bullish action here, a little corrective action as we start the Asian session. If we come down to the 4-hour chart, right, just ran the fib off the lows to see how deep that correction was moving. We're at 38%. Right on the correction. So we'll see what happens when we come into this 12,933 weekly support. See if we hold there and then continue to rally. I got to bring that back down. Let me find it. 933.40. Okay. So we'll continue to keep an eye on the dollar as we progress through the week. We know that come Friday, we got, well, before Friday, tomorrow, we've got GDP numbers, Q over Q, and we've got private sector job numbers, kind of that precursor to the non-farm payroll. So we'll see what the ADP numbers come through. The projection is 194. So we know we've got less job openings now. So let's see what happens with employment. And we've got preliminary GDP Q over Q, so quarter over quarter coming through. And then out of China, we got manufacturing PMI. That's going to be quite interesting. So we got quite a bit going on tomorrow. We got the Spanish CPI coming through again. Australia at 9:30 tonight. And then we move through into Thursday and Friday. We got the PCE numbers coming through, core PCE. That's the preferred measure data that the Fed likes to look at. We got that coming through on Thursday, unemployment claims. And then we've got Switzerland CPI on Friday. And then we also have non-farm payroll. We've got GDP for Canada as well, ISM manufacturing. So busy week. We need a week to get the volatility going. It's been kind of slow on a lot of the pairs. So looking forward to seeing the price action come back a bit. What else today? We saw that the U.S. futures higher after the strong rally. That made sense, right? We saw the correction in the dollar. Things on the stock market rallied. We'll take a look at the S&P as well. Any questions so far on any of the fundamentals? Pretty clear cut.
No.
All right. So let's pop on over, right? We see the DXY had a correction. And we see also, if we come down and we took a look at the S&P 500, we are moving long, right? Look at how we've held at this weekly level. We're getting a bump right now in the S&P. Strong week. And you can see here on the daily where we're holding in the zone. Okay. We're holding in the zone. So we'll see if we make a move. Okay. This market has been quite resilient. Okay. So we'll see if we can get a move maybe back to the top of that range. Where's our near-term resistance? Right here on the S&P. Here we go. Just like that. All right. So we're coming into that 45.29 level, but we are looking pretty bullish right now with that rally from today on the S&P. As we go down to the 4, you can see how we're getting a lift, right, off that level. Okay. So on a 4-hour, you got the lift off out of that 30 to 38% zone. But if you come down into the 1, which is where we were really watching it, we were taking a look at it towards the end of last week. You can see how we've got a decent pop, right, off our smaller wave. Look at that. Okay. So that's classic, right? Doesn't take out the A, has no choice but to go your way, right? Didn't take us out. D retracement, okay, almost 100%, pretty much there. And you can see how it recovered, and now we're getting that bounce, right? So we look for pullbacks and potential continuations on the S&P and see how it plays out. That's where we are now, okay? Come back to this level, okay? See what happens. We get that pullback. We've got an inner outer trend line break. We're moving towards that long-term trend line. So we're moving up pretty good. That's been a good move out of the zone. See what the sub-fib is doing. All right. So that's just explosive. Look at that. No retracement on that sub-fib. Straight through the D extension. That's way overextended. Way overextended. So at some point, we're going to form that high, right? C is our lowest level within the AB boundary. We need to wait for that high to form. We'll see what happens when price pulls back and where it decides to settle in at. Any questions on the S&P?
Nope.
All right. Okay. Well, hey, if we got a correction in the dollar, we got a stock market rally. So that means we must really need to look at gold, right? Oftentimes the inverse. So you can see for the week so far, right? Coming off a nice bullish week last week. Look at that, right? Continuing strong on gold. We know we were focused in on this area, right? We have picked up on the fact that that potential double bottom we were looking at right here held the low, right? We identified that last week, and look at that, it's breaking out a bit, okay? Breaking out on us. We were playing a 4-hour 80-20 off the retracement. So look at that, you got 2 in a row. Look how volatile the moves have been, right? With this gold. Here's a previous 80-20, totally collapsed, took out the A, all 3 TQ levels, came right back, reversed it, flipped the fib, 80-20, AB boundary, 236 retracement. We broke that B boundary, we pushed down in our 80-20 zone, and we got the swing. That's a TP1 there if you're playing at 80-20. All right, so we know ultimately, if it continues to move long, we know that we've got an up AB boundary on the daily. We know that this continues to move up and we take out that A, and we're flipping our fibs and running it the other way, right? And now everything starts to come into alignment. You already have it here on the 1. Okay, on the 1. Old crown completely fell, collapsed, right? Didn't hold. We saw that on the 4. We took the A out as well, but now we're moving bullish off that low. Okay. So just continue to keep an eye on gold. Look for pullbacks and continuations. Probably gonna run into that D extension soon. All right, look for the reset, pullbacks, and continuations on gold potentially. Any questions on gold?
No.
No. All right. Anybody trading that? Anybody trading gold long off the lows?
Nope. Not me.
No, me either. I didn't play it either, but it's a sweet move. Tell you that. All righty. Let's dive into look at these Aussies, right? At least some of the ones that's 9:15. We got news at 9:30 CPI data for Australia. We should see the market move a bit. We're sitting here on the 4 on this Aussie Swiss play. Finally got the break of the trend line. Finally starting to make a move. Okay, we'll see. We shall see. If we get that CPI data coming in above forecast, then we'll look for that Aussie to potentially continue to move up long. If it comes in below forecast, then we may see it take a dive. So we'll continue to watch it. That's technically in our zone that we trade. And we finally got the break of the trend line and we're moving up. Okay. It is, it's moving up. It's a grinder. We know that. So we'll see how it all plays out for Australia. I'm looking at this only as a like a correction play. Long term, to be long term bullish on the Aussie, with the exception of against the yen potentially. Not really feeling it, man. You continue to get just terrible numbers coming out of China with the real estate market and whatnot. We know that's Australia's largest trade partner. That doesn't bode too well. Plus some of the things domestically that's going on with Australia. So I'm looking at things strictly as a correction more so now, right? Giving us that high price to eventually get back short. So playing at 80-20 to the 382 and then seeing what'll come of it. But you never know how the CPI report is going to come out and affect it. It's choppy. It's choppy. tell the anticipation of that report coming out at 9:30. So let's continue to keep an eye on it. Any questions on the Aussie Swiss?
Oh,
All right. Take a look at this Aussie yen. Got a bit of a rally. Okay, bit of a rally. So that's that weekly fit we've got going. We come in and look at the daily. Right, been rangy a bit, but we're holding within that AB boundary. We pushed pretty low. Didn't quite get to a 61.8, but we wicked out there at that daily support at 91.82. And we'll see. Right? If we get through 94.84, yeah, I think, hey, maybe we're getting some strength that's going to carry against that against that yen. Here we are on the one. Okay, slowly moving up, moving it. We're moving back up into overbought territory. So this one has been a slow mover as well because of the condition of both currencies, right? We're talking about two currencies that are definitely not the strongest right now. So, but it's been a slow grind upward. So we'll see what happens at 9:30. See what type of reaction we get. That's that on those. I want to take a look at. I've got a number of things written down. This pound Aussie. Okay. So we know oftentimes whenever we get, especially man on that higher time frame, when you get a weekly, a monthly, daily, the extension hit, it's only a matter of time for we get that exhaustion and we see a correction. And that's what we're seeing on the pound Aussie. So always remember that, right? And it could look like a pair is going to run bullish forever, but when you start getting up to some pretty high levels, you become due for a correction. You start knocking out those extensions on those higher time frames, you start to get priced to give you a pretty wicked reaction to the downside. So we see already that's down 450 pips out of the highs, right? And we're not even to that daily D extension. We ran into the monthly one first, whatever it was, right? So we ran a weekly D extension first. And so you see the correction. Now it's just a matter of, how far it wants to correct before it finds a new low and continues to get long. Overall, still bullish. Here's the break, okay, out of the zone there. So you can see on the 4 how that's been making its way down. So we broke through that 195.65 level. It was struggling a bit, right? Then we got the push down today, right? See how it was just dancing on that support, and then we broke. So the questions become, do we make a decent little retest and then a continuation down to the 382? That's what I would love to see, right? To see that 80-20 continue to make its way down to the 382, to that TP1 level. But it's already come quite a ways, over 400 pips to the downside. Here we are on the one. So if you're patient and you let the market come to you, right? We don't have to be in the market all the time, exposing ourselves with 50 million transactions. We don't have to do that, okay? And that's a big part of what we do is to teach you, right? Just a different perspective. So that's clean, right? That's textbook right there. You got the impulsive move up right into the zone. You had good monthly resistance there. And you can see, right? We talk about how when price breaks that B boundary at the shallow retracement, oftentimes it'll stall out. This is what we mean. See how it's just moving sideways? You get the big fight between the bulls and the bears. That's a pretty high price. And you see that the bears went out. Okay. And there you have that 80-20. And that's down quite a way. So I think at least we come into that TP1. That TP1 on this 1 hour chart. We'll see. We know there's no technical structure set up that is standing in the way of a strong fundamental occurrence, right? So if you end this one to the downside, you're up 400 pips. Hopefully you secure some of that bag at this point. All right. Any questions on the pound Aussie?
Oh,
Cool. So let's hold on, give me 1 second, everybody. Okay. So let's take a look at the Euro Aussie. That was another setup that we've been paying attention to, the long-term swing, and then there was a smaller opportunity that we were looking at. We know that the long-term swing, all right, just to work our way through this. We know that the Aussie's been weak. For the most part, bullish on the euros, except for since we got this last correction on the euro. Some of the economic data that came through. For the most part, it's been fairly bullish for the euro. So we're trying to work our way up to this weekly 382 target here at 174.53. Right. So far, so good. So we're on these lower time frames. We're really looking to play these corrections. Right. So still in an up retracement zone. So we're looking to play corrections on this setup here. So you can see here on the 4 hour. Okay. We're just looking, hey, playing those 80-20s, looking for it to come down out of the zone. Okay. And this one's doing the dance, bouncing around. But ultimately, we would love to see, okay? We would love to see here in a few minutes, right? For that CPI to come through, above forecast, positive for the currency and continue to strengthen, right? So that way we can get this price to push down, but we shall see. But so far, right, you coming out of that zone, everybody, right off the high of that zone, we're down 300 pips. Have to lock some of that in. We don't control the market, right? It's a trade idea. That's what it is. All right. So here's this was the play off of that pullback. Right. And we said, hey, it's an opportunity to potentially add to the position if you're still riding that 4 hour trade idea down, or you get it wrong, or maybe add an initial position as it pulled back into the zone. But it's been rocking back and forth ever since. So we needed to break, preferably down, but we need something to break all of this mess. And hopefully it's the CPI that comes up. Any questions on the Euro Aussie? Been quite a move so far. 300 pips, 400 pips on your pound Aussie, 300 pips to the downside on your Euro Aussie. Right? Can't ask for too much more than that, and they're not even at the projected target. So let's make sure that we secure some of the profit on those if you're playing those to the downside. These setups take time. Take time. All right. Questions?
no. From me.
All right. Ryan, good evening, sir.
Bro, good evening, man. How are you?
Doing great, man. Glad to be here. Glad to be here. Ready for the rest of this week and these reports to come out so this fucking can get moving.
Yeah, man. Waiting patiently or impatiently.
Yep. Anything out there that you saw? I know you had posted in the Discord. You talked about it this morning with the Bank of Japan.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to look any deeper on that yet today. Just actually getting settled in. So I'll see what I can find. If I find anything before the end of the session, I'll chime in and let you know. But other than that, I don't have anything additional to add.
Cool. So I will say that I heard today, listening to surveillance, that at one point, uh, investors were calling like 136 on the dollar yen, but Goldman Sachs came out and called 155 on the dollar yen. That's their projection.
So I was looking at the charts on this, right? And if 155 is that area, that'll be basically a weekly de-extension. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, a weekly
Off the sum.
de-extension.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got a different fib running too. But yes, a weekly de-extension.
Mm-hmm.
Then on the daily, you're also at a de-extension, I think.
Daily?
I have it. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
I
that
just ran it off
de-extension
that
was
low.
before. Yeah. So that one is just before. So it'd be an interesting situation if we get that high. But in the past, what I've also read is that if price gets into the high 140s, that's where the Bank of Japan is going to express some concern. So 146, 147, 148. So if we get to 155, we could definitely see some major changes happen at that point. If price gets there, if it trickles there and takes its time, maybe. But if we see some sharp movements, I don't know if the Bank of Japan allows it to get there.
Right. Because you see what happened last time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
That's when they stepped in.
Yep.
And then this last move was just the talker stepping in.
So I actually read that they did do some intervention at that point. They didn't say it publicly, but they did do, I forget, it was a few hundred million.
Did they step in about bought bonds?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember either.
Yeah, it wasn't in the larger news articles though. It was one that I read on Japan Today.
Okay.
So they did do a small intervention at that point. Okay. When everybody said they were talking about it, they actually did do it, but it wasn't publicized.
Yeah, and I think it's the speed, right?
Yeah.
And that they're always the speed that they're always concerned about, in which the numbers get to those levels.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. That's the what did that data come through?
Um,
4.9. That's gonna dump.
Interesting.
I had to read into more detail. That's the initial reaction. Let's see where the relief is coming. What part? Not too much.
I don't know if that continues to run to the upside.
I don't think so neither. That's a double top right there on that dollar. We're back below 64.53. This might be time for the continuation of that short. See how it plays out. But we can't right back into that level though. But
Yeah.
continue to watch it. Yeah. That's your 4. That's gonna finish out. It's been a nice ride, right? Off that double top off the daily. Hold up. All right, let's keep an eye on that one. See if we close below 64.53. That will continue. All right. Any questions on the Aussie dollar?
Nope.
All right. Yeah. All right. So let's take a look at we looked at the pound Aussie. Oh, look at this pound CAD trade that's still in play. Still making his move. Okay. This is off the 1. Kind of just moving sideways. Got the correction, but it's still moving along. So that one's still in play. Okay. Still liking that one long term bullish. That's moved quite a ways off the level. So still up, got a correction, but we're still up and it's moving sideways. So that is what it is. Nothing to add to that one right now. Any questions on this pound CAD? Want to hold that long to that 175.82 extension? That one might take a while, but it's all good. It's in profit. Nope. All right. So no questions. I'm just gonna blaze through these real quick then. Pound NZD. Here we are on the 4. Okay. Down, right? Hit that 215 level, that daily level at the 118, we dropped. So I'm looking for pullbacks and continuations, right? So off that level, 400 pips, sitting at about 344 right now. So we would love to see that continue to make its way down over time, at least to that 382 target on the pound NZD. Any questions?
Nope.
Thank you. Pound dollar. All right, still kind of stalling right off that 118. We're almost at that 382 target. If you secure the bag at this point, I don't blame you. All right. So we've come off that level. Okay. Strong structure. That's 543 pips that they came down. All right. To meet that daily support where we are now. Zones work. You just have to be patient. Any questions on the pound dollar? NZD Swiss. Kind of moving sideways, right? And I believe, looking at this, on the one, it's trying to break trend line, but it's moving sideways now at the results of the data. So keep an eye on this, right? Wanted to go over this one. It's pretty low, right? We broke through an all-time low here. Haven't gotten to that D extension and we're pushing sideways. So looking for a bit of a breakout. Okay, see if we can start making some higher highs and higher lows. It's trying to figure itself out. Okay, trying to figure itself out. So just continue to watch that NZD Swissy, right, to see if we can get that to move to the upside to at least a 382 target on that. Any questions about the NZD Swiss?
Nope.
New Zealand dollar. Okay, it's toying around. We're in the 80-20 zone. That's still in play. Okay, got to move up today. Now we're pulling back a bit. We'll see if that move up was serious. Right, off of that dollar data that came out. All right, so we'll see. So we are still right in this play. It's 100 pips away, right? That could be a good move if it can continue to gain momentum. Let's see what happens once price pulls back. What do we have down here on the 5? Okay. So this is on your 5-minute chart. We can see prices pulling back into our zone. Okay. So if you like trading on the smaller time frames, if the 4-hour to 1 hour the daily is boring to you, right? You can trade this on the 5-minute too. Doesn't matter. We say the same thing over and over again. Right? Doesn't matter the time frame. Okay. Some people trade on the 5, some people trade on the 1 minute. Reese trades on the 30. Okay. Whatever chart you like to trade on, you can use this methodology. Market moves in waves. Everything else is built around that. All right. So if you're trading this on a 5-minute, you got a 4-hour 382 right there. You can set that target up. Okay. So if this ABCD wave is going to continue, right? We're coming into our sweet spot. What is that? 31 pips, 55 pips, 100 pips to the target. All right. Any questions on the NZD dollar?
Nope.
All right. Let's take a look at, I want to take a look at ExxonMobil. See what's going on. This oil from another perspective. Where at? So we're back above that 109 on Exxon. Okay. So we're looking at that upside target at 118. So that one's still in play. I still expect that to move bullish on Exxon. Okay. We know that's a major player in the oil market. And so it's still looking pretty bullish to me overall. It's kind of taking its time. Donette, I missed this in the chat. You said you're still holding. Which pair is that?
NGD USD.
Is it a USD? All right. All right. Let's see how that goes. Hopefully we can gain some momentum after that correction. Find some buyers. All right. That's that. We look at the NASDAQ. Looking pretty bullish to me. What do you all think?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a clean break and it tested the backside of the trend line. I'm liking that rally. Looks good. Looks good. We got that break above the cloud, right? We got everything we want on this one. 80-20 down to the sweet spot. It's textbook. That's when you study, right? That's when to write home about, as they say. Looking nice, right? So above the cloud now, we look for pullbacks and potential continuations, right? Rallies, right? The setups are there. Setups are there. Gotta take them, pull the trigger, be patient, use proper risk management. That's the key. A lot of times, right, you hear people, my mindset. But what's driving it? Oftentimes, your risk management is bad, right? Severely over leveraged. Okay. We don't control the market. Give it room. Give it time. Okay. That's a nice swing. Let's see if we can keep that bullish momentum. That's right off the 61.8 and daily support there. Even with a wicked pullback, we got a continuation. What does that look like that this action? Take it out. It did. So, and that's gonna be extended. Yep, I just hit it. So we'll get a sub flip going on at 4. And all right, it's been bouncing. So we need to redo this because of that correction. So crazy to the downside. And we're running off this low here. That's way overextended. At some point, we're gonna get a swing on and we'll get a new AB boundary. And we can be patient and wait for the pullback. But beautiful inner to outer trend line move. All right. Any questions on the NASDAQ? It's looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, Benny, a
Let's
quick
go.
one.
Yep.
Yeah, I think weeks ago I asked you about how to trade this pair. I'm considering the wider pips that is involved, and you made reference
Pips
to
and
the fact
points.
that yeah,
Let me write that down, man. We might just spend a session on that. Probably we'll set up something like next week or maybe even on during a ritual. So we'll plan for that. How to calculate that.
okay.
Yep, we'll do that. Appreciate you bringing that up. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, so that continues long this week. That's gonna put in a weekly low there, right off that 236. That's gonna be quite interesting. All right, but right now we're bullish on the NASDAQ. Take a look at the US 30. Down, what do we got? What do we have? All right, forming a low off this 382. Okay, that's official. Okay. That's an official swing low. So we're coming off that 382. So what kind of correction that we get on the lower time frames? Where did we come in at? Okay. A little deeper than 382 there, not quite a 50, but we're moving up. Okay. So the key is, hey, we come into resistance. You see, we took out the highs here. Can we get a pullback? Look at that. That completely collapsed. Right? On that US 30. That 80-20. There's the zone, everybody. Okay, that's the zone. Bang. Immediate reversal. So we're about to take this A out. Like that. We can take these targets out now. That was to the downside. Okay. Get those moments where there's a lot of back and forth, but you know what? We can catch points on these pairs. All right. Now these are potential setups, everybody. You're live, right? So make sure we said in the beginning, take lots of notes, participate and engage. This is why. Okay. See if we can get a pullback in the correction. Maybe we push up in this zone and then move down. Okay. But you got a new AB boundary. That's what we want. Questions on the US 30?
No, sir.
All right. Ryan, you were looking at NVIDIA earlier today, right?
Yes.
All right. Let's take a look at Apple, see what we're doing. Okay. See what we're doing. We see how I put in the lows. Right? See how I put in the low right here. Looks familiar, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We saw that on the indices, right? Didn't take our A out, did it? Didn't take our A out. Okay. Here we are. 4. Can't make this stuff up, everybody. Look like an 80-20 to me on Apple. Came right down to a 61.8 and we reversed out. We found buyers. All right. We'll close that gap.
Man,
Pretty
that was
simple
the buy there.
concept. What'd you say?
So that was the buy there. Yeah, 618 level. I didn't see that.
Hey man, hey man. Moving into next year, we're gonna storm right into these stocks.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful thing, man. Beautiful thing.
Yep. We do all right in this group. We do all right. Okay. Here it is on the 1, right? No matter whatever chart you're playing, whatever wave you want to catch. Any questions on Apple?
Nope.
Amazon. I hit the buy zone, everybody. I hit the buy zone. That's off the 4. We did this a long time ago. It's like that's trying to get long. You all right? You've got this. Right? If you want it, it's all here for you. Right? It's all here. Got to be willing to go get it. That one came down and tapped on the daily. That's all right. It took back 100% and bounced. See what we're looking like on oh, only got one. I must have never updated this when I redid my chart. So I'll just do it within this chart. We'll swing back. Super deep correction. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is a clean double bottom. Same thing over and over. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. It's all the same thing. Ryan, anything before we wrap things up?
Man, I'm gonna post this article.
Oh, I'm
Out
looking
of
at this now.
Japan Times. Or that one I'll send too, but this is another one that I'm in the
Okay.
middle of reading. On the economy, given a different perspective. One of the individuals that was running for governor of the Bank of Japan, talking about his perspective. He's a professor and this kind of jazz, but he's talking about essentially how the Bank of Japan isn't giving an accurate picture of the inflation picture in Japan and the cost of
Okay.
living. So it'll be interesting to see how this conversation continues to progress. But
All right.
but on the stock side of things, man, it is what it is, and it takes what it takes. Right? If you're
Yep.
willing to find the information, willing to put in the work, the time, the effort, the energy to get it, you can get it. But it takes what it takes. It's all right there. Every time frame, every asset class.
Can't say it no better than that. Can't say it any better than that. Well, hey, appreciate you all hanging in there with us tonight. And we'll be right back at it. Same time, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carter.